Gonna assume that we're alive now, right? Hi, everybody. I don't know why Phil's over here.
I don't know why Phil's not showing up either.
I am the DM now.
What is going on?
Over there. I didn't even see that. Hold on. Let me
It's probably
figure
because
out
the
why.
last time we used
The
this,
wizard
I was
power.
the DM. Yes.
Last time we streamed.
Wow.
Yes.
What?
Oh,
my-
man, this is so
Congratulations.
scuffed.
Hold on.
Hey.
Yeah.
No, we are
Professional.
my tower now.
We started professionally, and it's just gone downhill since.
Yeah,
This is how we work.
professional stream. We have lost all integrity.
If you remember,
There we go.
at the start of every episode, it says the bards are getting their entrance, so we can just blame the bards.
Yep,
Yeah.
Oh,
it's failed.
oh, good lord.
There we go.
Bards cast
I thought it looked a little empty down there. I just couldn't figure out why.
Yeah.
It's
My broad ass shoulders aren't there. That's why.
It would seem we
Two
are.
faces.
It would seem we are back in the desert.
Yeah. It's just a table with a map on it. That's all it is.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
Uh-huh.
Oh, God.
Oh, there's our stuff.
I'm getting stuff on there slowly. It's not gonna do the automatic
Yeah.
rotation. I still gotta do it manually, but you know, it's
Oh.
it'll.
Alright, well, while she does that, shall we continue?
Don't worry about it, boss. It's scuffed at this point.
Okay.
As
Embrace the scuff.
Ellen
Embrace
and
suck.
Beowulf both are out from the governmental area, heading towards the designated meeting spot with their mother. You guys a bit of time, 25 minutes or so to get from there to the other. Oh, it is. My microphone's still fucked.
It is a bit fucky.
Well, it's a bit
better?
better right now.
Yeah, it's
But
Take your
earlier,
time
like-
with it.
Yeah.
Alright.
Just if you hear us go, what? That's usually what would happen.
Okay.
We're cold breaking.
Quickly.
What?
If it gets worse, I'll turn off all the programs I'm using,
You should probably do that anyways.
which is just fucking Roll20 and Discord. I don't know what else to do if I'm not even looking at Roll20.
I mean, it's just your ISP at this point.
It's ISP. It's ISP. So, both of you are heading. It's going to take a little bit as you find your way towards the. Is it Glacier Gardens?
Did we tell anybody where we were going, or did I have a chance
Glacier
to?
Gardens. I don't think you did.
I was just being yoinked immediately.
We told them. I told you the night before,
Okay.
and others were around.
Yeah, it was in a group discussion. I'm pretty sure we know.
Yeah, you guys might have said
Alright.
it like right before you left.
Were we going by
Okay.
ourselves, or was anybody going with?
From what I understood, it was just you two.
Just to go see the mother? Yeah.
I mean, anybody else that wanted to try and keep up would be welcome.
Yeah, I'm gonna pass on that.
I mean, I am boosted.
I was too busy being tickled, tortured, so you know.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
We all know where that's going.
What?
Don't worry about it.
I know Neoma will be staying with wherever Shadow is currently, or Aloria. Stolen is currently toting around his fiance through the castle halls. I believe Arya is. What are you doing so that we can be clear of whatever the actions as the other two may be leaving?
I'm going back to my room at this point.
And Aloria is heading outside.
I'm heading outside to basically hang out in the courtyard and wait for nighttime to roll around. While I'm doing that, how long would it take to attune
8
to
hours.
the necklace?
Long rest.
8 hours? Okay, fuck that. I'm just gonna sit Out there
Yeah,
with Shadow, because I think Shadow's out there with me too, right? You said you were coming with me. Shadow.
I walked out first, if I remember correctly, but essentially, yeah, we were going in the same direction.
I think you
I
sent
stepped
Neoma
outside
off
of the
to her
room.
room. You sent
Yeah.
Neoma to her room.
Neoma
So
would
it's just me and
enter
Shadow.
the room.
It's just me and Shadow going out to the castle courtyard.
To look at stars, I believe.
Yep, we're gonna wait for night to roll around so we can reference Neoma's star chart compared to what the actual sky looks like.
Hmm.
All right, so that leaves Elenan and Felwolf heading to go see their mother. Elenan, you've been to Glacier Gardens before. The Felwolf, this area you've seen once as a child, and as you get there, the images, the awes you experienced while there are still present to this day. As you both crossed through the bridge on Phoenix Boulevard, quickly passing by fields there, heading towards the garden itself, you will see the large ice block still sitting in the center of this gardens. The ice itself has frozen within it a large undead dragon. But as years have passed, from your last here, Felwolf, you notice there is less and less dragon and more ice, as if the ice itself is slowly eating away what is contained.
Pretty big dragon.
Pretty big dragon.
Dragon accessible.
And it is buried under a good distance of ice. Roughly the point in which would be the shortest from outside of the ice to the dragon itself, about 12 to 15 feet.
Cracks knuckles.
The creature itself, there are plaques. You recall informing you, and Ellen, you would also know that this was a Draco Lich. This is one of the
What?
it was a Draco Lich, and it was
Nice.
defeated here and left. At first, as either a warning or just too busy to deal with it. And over the past few years, the corpse of the creature inside has slowly deteriorated and crystallized and turned into ice.
I am going to spend some time here.
As you get there, there is a bench your father and mother frequented that is occupied by a female elf.
Fuck!
Walking towards bench.
All right. Felwolf, what are you doing?
Creating a stalwart persona.
Give me a performance check.
Said, fuck. Oh man.
That was not supposed to be.
Oh.
It's not supposed to be with disadvantage, so.
Oh no.
It was 11. You try to put on a brave face, understanding that you have now made your mother wait.
Yeah.
As you begin to approach, the figure will look up from the book within their hands. This uniform reminiscent of that of some sort of high-standing regalia, where there are still the there's still the section for where all the medals are supposed to be, where some still hang.
Is there a picture?
I currently do not have it. I will grab one. I will continue to describe at least the outfit. I will grab one for the face afterwards and then throw it in there. The uniform itself, very reminiscent of a high-standing naval officer of sorts. Though there are aspects of it that seem, certain things removed, or the ranking would be and whatnot, but essentially a gift remaining of these are your accomplishments. These are the things that you can keep. As she stands, not taller than either one of you, but the presence in which she gives off is, at least for you two, in a way that her figure is still impressive. Her hair is brought down into a single braid back, and her face stern and angled towards you, with a chin slightly with this downward look of disappointment. Tucks the book underneath her arm, stands there and just taps her foot once. By the stroke of the 5th bell, I believe is what I said.
World-ending woes and all of that.
I thought your father would at least teach you to keep time.
Taught me many things. Fortunately, some lessons came too late.
Regardless, it's good to see both of you alive. And in good health. And she kind of raises her brow and stares at both of you.
We have our pieces, but are not without scars.
She'll walk to the side somewhat. I'd expect no additions to the family. As she'll
Do what?
side glance you both. I suspect no additions to the family. As she side glances you both.
Nope.
I choose silence.
Okay.
Although there was a loss.
She'll look straight towards both of you. Who?
Some lessons come too late.
Both of you make for me an insight check.
God damn.
No?
I didn't roll that fucking bad. I just have a low fucking mod
Yeah,
for
that's
it.
fine.
Jesus
That's fine.
Christ.
It's always been hard to read your mother. She's, before anything, a soldier. As she looks It's not as if her face is cold and unturned to the statement in which you bear news. More along the lines of this immediate acceptance and then moving on.
The individual that he fought still lives. However, his pet is dead. A creature I have not seen of its like before. Perhaps you may have knowledge.
What creature?
'Twas a dragon, though different. See-through. Almost ethereal. But not undead.
The mountains, the scaled nations hold many different types of wicked drake. Though, as your father has told me, from the east are different kinds of sky serpents. Still dragons, but of different nature.
The individual in question is a warrior of legend. One that apparently surpassed his father. Something that is striking. This warrior, however, was whisked away before retribution could be at hand. Are you aware of what is currently transpiring at our family's home?
After I departed from Oasis, I spent some time hunting on the sea. In the end of the past season, did I return and have to more along the lines of asked to be relieved from duty. There are some things in which I was permitted to be able to do as long as I gave up something. So, I only have recently returned to land. So I am not entirely up to date, though there is a lot of stir about something happening or having happened in Auditore, though it does not bother me much that places like a well-colored scab.
And he'll give a sight grin. He's like, well, it's good to at least give you some form of retribution. Our home is at war. A war brought from the west. I am here because your ancient enemies have stoked flames And because of those flames, previous lord of the wolf has fallen. Allies, friends, taken and enslaved, tortured beneath that city. Seeds of corruption sowed within and throughout. Innocents lay pieces on our shores. Tomorrow, I go to speak with the Senate. I know that Whitewater will not fulfill their debt. I have others who will. I felt it necessary to keep you informed. I've been quite busy, hence my lateness. Even to this very hour, I've been plagued by deceit, by spies, those who would attempt to stop the flow of information.
The aspect in which water will more than likely respond to aiding you is low. Direct would be unlikely. Whitewater supports more of a defensive force than an active military.
I do not expect Whitewater to send aid directly. I never did.
Though I would not discount the individuals that move amongst the city itself. They would more than likely be ones to take individualistic action. Whitewater is a strange place in the West, where people think differently than other places like Inzel or Auditore. The masses flock to a single idea. You would not have the backing of the entire kingdom of Whitewater, but a good section would raise up arms in some form or another.
To be direct, Whitewater is only a secondary target for allies. A misdirection tactic, if you will. My enemies will be trying to do their best to dissuade those of Whitewater, whereas that is not truly the allies I am after. I have respect for those in Whitewater, highly. They are noble, but they are not the warriors I seek. They themselves are not warriors. There is only one country here in the West that truly has my respect for the warriors that they breed. It is they I seek.
Your father thought the same. Though he hoped different for Whitewater when he met Alexander. Alexander didn't live long enough to fulfill those hopes of grandeur. Nogrod is a place of action, of history, promise. Though I have not seen King Bukovic in some time, even walking the streets of Whitewater, nor have I visited Novgorod myself. I don't know how the man has changed.
Therein lies the beauty of my actions. As you said, you've heard certain transpirings that happened in Alvatore. The result of one of those transpirings was the freeing of a tortured prisoner, a high noble from that country, one that the king closely guards. Now that country also owes me a debt. And I would be not very hard pressed to motivate them to take action against Auditore. And with my knowledge of their fighters, my calculations say it'd be a relatively painless battle. I have observed the guards of Aldatore. I have observed their military. I have observed their leaders, none of which are to the caliber of my to-be ally. Do you believe this to be a viable stratagem? Or do you believe I am flawed?
There's a high chance in which what you seek may happen. Though I will warn you. Bukovic is a man, in a sense, much like your father. There was one aspect that always made them different. King Bukovic is not bound by a training of keeping emotions in check.
I am well aware that they are not the same traditions. However, a person as yourself is well aware that sometimes in war there could be no other outcome but casualties, no matter how best you hope otherwise, no matter how hard you try. War will always still be war. I am well aware that the people of Aldatore did not ask for this. But neither did my people ask to be slaughtered. I have no other answer for their cries, but the stillness of a blade. It is not vengeance I seek, it is peace. I've tried to stay to a true path, as one as close to honor as possible, to uphold our traditions, to make our family proud. This position I find myself in leaves me with naught but little room to navigate. Alas, this is only the beginning of the problem, which is why I wish to keep you informed. As one of the sires of the family, there is someone who pulls the strings that we have not yet deduced. Someone who provokes this war. We only know of their minions. Family you are quite familiar with. Almost too familiar. A reoccurring villain of your past. It has not yet been made public knowledge, and probably will not for some time. But Whitewater's and the West's mortal villains have returned. They are the reason why I cannot stop the siege. It is a sad thing to say, but we have evidence that they have dug into the very leadership of Aldator. My brother and I are here as we seek your guidance. There's no one else we would rather trust. Do we still stride a true path? Or have we strayed?
I'm not someone that knows what you should be doing. I train soldiers to fight. I've watched people grow, watched them grow old and die. Even men that accomplish far less than myself. I watch those with shorter lifespans do things that I never thought possible. The path you walk will not be tread by anyone else. No one can walk down the same path. Your father once said that a way of a warrior walks through a trampled ground, akin to that of a battlefield. If you look down, you'll become lost in which direction you should march. Don't worry about the path. Know your destination.
Keep your head held high and move forward.
As warriors and soldiers must do. But take the word of a mother. Don't forget what is behind you that drives you.
Is that is at the forefront of my thought process.
Then you should be fine. Just know you will continue to ask that question.
Ironically, this is exactly what I thought you would say.
She'll smile.
But it brings me happiness to know that I still think as you do.
You learn from some people that have had to answer these questions. But just know, there were questions even I and your father never had the answer to.
Indeed. Yana, you got anything to say?
No, I think you covered it all.
She'll look at you, Elenan. For someone that desires to do things, I recommend you find more answers than the questions you pile. Talk more, boy.
Boy!
And next time, make some progress. Elves only get older. And I hope not to outlive everyone that I'm supposed to leave behind.
Thing coming through now?
Are you coming through now? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Oh, sweet. Thank you. Internet, I guess.
Sorry, what was that?
I'm having problems with my internet too.
Haha, take that.
Parry this, you filthy casual.
Parry this, motherfucker. I think Cloaker has just decided to raid your internet providers.
Yeah.
I like how it just dodged me, went straight to Arch and Wolf.
Yeah.
To be honest, it probably happened when you were making coffee.
Man, that was a really fast one then.
Probably.
There is, before we depart for the night and prepare for the Senate, after our dealings in the city are done, I would like to bring a few of my friends to you. I feel as if they would benefit from your guidance.
What for?
one of them wishes to learn of our tactical way. The other is lost, pathless. Vigor, confidence would be a valued lesson before they may stray to a darker path. I cannot seem to reach them. My ways are different.
Your father was always more of a hero in trying times than a comforter in thought.
This is what I find myself closely compared to quite often by these two.
But your concern shows hope yet. My suggestion for you: take note of the changes in people. Offer what little you can until you're sure that a push is needed in some certain direction. Just try your best to understand the person so that you choose a better direction to push them.
I understand. Before I go, this is customary. I have brought you a gift. He hands her a small package. Something you'd have to use 2 hands.
Okay.
I suspect that on your journeys this may be appeasing. I have made it myself.
If you want to describe it as she opens it up, you can go ahead.
It was one of the. It's a duplicate. The duplicate cake that I made the other day.
Ah,
Remember, I made 2.
Wasn't that just this morning?
Well, yeah, that's what I meant the other day, as in last time we played or whatever.
okay.
Yeah,
You made a cake.
I made. Yes. It seems to be something that brings me some modicum of joy in this trying time.
I would suggest, if you wish to turn these into something you can use for situations in which you struggle in, make them a bit smaller.
I see. Thank you for your advice.
It'd be about at this time both of you would quickly hear the slow approaching. As you've heard steps occasionally of people moving through, but you'll hear a series of steps moving in your direction that are actually beginning to approach you, not like passersby or other individuals in the park or in the garden, but people that seem to be approaching your crew.
I'm going to just activate a defensive posture. Just put my hand on my katana, not draw it, not put it in an aggressive manner, just in a prepared fashion. I'm not even going to fully turn around. I'm just going to turn my head to see who's approaching.
You will see 2 fully individuals accompanied by a smaller male.
You would see Altair slowly approach. Not really paying you too much mind, more casually looking throughout the garden as he slowly walks up towards you.
Good day.
Ah, good day. I see you also enjoy the sights of these noble gardens.
Indeed. Makes for a good conversation ground.
Yes. And he would look over, notice who would be your mother, and give her a slight head nod as a recognition of who she is. And
you would, if you don't know the name, you would know her. She was the previous admiral of the Whitewater Fleet. It would be. Alan, I believe your mother's name was Star. Was it Starstrider? Is her maiden name still?
I have it here.
Swiftmane.
Yeah.
Swiftmane.
She would go by Starstrider sometimes.
It would probably, you would refer to her as Swiftmane. That was her. That was her name before she ended up marrying an individual that you never really knew anything about. So you just kept viewing her as Swiftmane because she responds to it regardless.
Okay. Then I would say, well, Admiral Swiftbane, it's a rare sight seeing you around in these parts nowadays.
Retired, Your Majesty.
Yes, well, someone of your status, it's hard to stay retired, I imagine.
Just trying out. I have time to go back if I so choose.
Yeah, of course. I would look down and would I notice the cake?
Yes, she is holding it.
Well, don't want to be as rude as to interrupt a late night picnic of sorts. So I assume I'll be seeing you two, looking over to Fel and Elena tomorrow. As at this point, I would also just move my head to the side, looking over at the dead Dracolich in the ice, and just kind of admire it for a moment before continuing on. You guys have a good night.
You as well.
Night, you.
Now I would just slowly pass by with my two guards on my side.
Your mother will just look at both of you.
Fel still has his hand on his blade.
Still
That
keeping
your-
my eyes on him and from the corner of my eye.
Lost another one. Star crash.
The dropping like
It's
flies.
dropping like flies. Yeah.
If you're still watching him, you will notice he's just appears to be like a leisure stroll through the garden. Just he'll stop every now and then to look at if there's a statue or another type of floral arrangement before continuing on to the next.
This fucking guy.
This guy.
There's something up with him.
As he moves out of hearing range, she'll look at both of you. I am glad your father's restraint seemed to be genetic.
It was very harsh training.
And I'll move my crossbow out from one side of my cloak. Jesus.
Just don't make problems for Whitewater. I'd like to have a few years of peaceful retirement
My goal
before
is
I
to,
inevitably go back.
my goal is to allow you as many years of retirement as you wish. However, it really determines on the actions tomorrow how many you truly support. As soon as this war is over, you will have your peace.
Unless I can do my best to stop naval shipments of sorts from that travel road from Auditory to Whitewater and to go to Oasis. And could go through more difficult terrain. That could be the best that I can afford without drawing the ire of too many eyes. But when all's said and done, your father and members have learned that individuals like myself don't forget easily, but often remember grudges. Just remember one thing. And she'll look towards you, Felwolf. The people here aren't timid of war. They do. We're tired of it easily. Find reason enough. If you can't, convince the individuals that are there. Watch their eyes, their behavior. Then on your brother for that, as she looks towards Elenan. To people, ones you're talking to.
Not hearing anything. I don't know if it's me.
You're not able to hear me?
I wasn't, yeah.
Oh. What was the last thing you heard?
You said my name. My character.
She'll look towards you, Elenan. Lean on your brother for that. Speak to those people. Those are the ones that will take action. Just because the many choose not to act doesn't prevent the few from doing so on their own. Let Whitewater have some underlining of action or justice. I know if I was in the audience, I would probably applaud at somebody wanting to stick sharp metal objects towards certain individuals. Though, and the first nature of Whitewater is peace. They do not see the conflict. Find a way to make them see it.
I have a way. Whether or not they will like it, that's debatable.
Just try not to spill blood.
I will not personally be the one spilling. It's whether their actions on attacking us upon our revolution of truth.
I'm going to assume the large wolf man that was checked into the hospital a day or so ago.
Once again, a survivor.
Make use of him. She'll somewhat squint and have that familiar, like, almost sinister smile. Gosh, stolen. Star's computer is just dying today. It is that day. Technology hates Team Epic today.
It
I'm
is
sorry,
against
guys.
us today.
Hopefully, next time.
Well, we
do
know who
something
have the
better.
strongest computers right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's
And
true.
the ones that don't have all the fucking updates. Yeah. She'll give you this somewhat wicked smile in reference towards make use of him.
Mm-hmm. I believe I understand what you're implying. I will do so.
There are girls all over this town of beaten soldiers covered in blood of enemies. A soldier wounded moves this town. Just find somebody that can persuade. I will go and enjoy this cake. It's getting late,
Indeed.
and I'm sure the crew is wondering where I am.
I have much to prepare for tomorrow. We will bid you a fair night. We will be on our way.
She will wrap up it once more. Have her head high again and click her heels together, and while holding the book under the arm, the cake in hand, she'll salute at both of you.
Beowulf will bow.
She'll burn her hand and just kind of escort herself essentially off.
All right, Elenan. Hopefully we have everything ready to go for tomorrow. Everything comes down to it. And he'll start walking off.
Oh, back with him. What time is it, by the way?
You hear the bells going off, a number of 6. Which path are you taking home? The Phoenix Boulevard down King Street, or are you just staying up the north pass there, going from Phoenix Boulevard to Bridgeway into the castle?
Let's take the most direct.
Okay. So you cross through Phoenix Boulevard, you get to the large square. Elenan, seeing the tower, that kind of still messes with the head. Fellow, if you see it but kind of disregard it, just keep it out of your focus, as you've had a lot to deal with today. Begin to move down Bridgeway towards the gate to the bridge that leads towards the castle district. Elenan, make for me a perception check.
Hey.
Hey. As you begin to move through the large plaza, Ellen, you can hear something. At first, sounds like a small storm, like rolling thunder, not a clap, but just this constant. Is it whatever's making the noise is coming from a far off distance? So look down Phoenix Boulevard towards the gate to the outer bridge over here. seems to be echoing from that place, just kind of reverberating through the city. You don't see anything different.
Oh,
Yes.
you hear that?
Do I?
Go ahead and give me a perception check.
I'll just draw it. Nice.
No. At least not at first. As you're sitting there, standing, kind of looking the direction, pointing. Alan Annis pointing in. Nothing. So eventually, you get to hear the sounds of a bell. Alan, you would know that this bell, the tone is different. There are bells for invasion, bells for like fire, blah blah blah. This one's a bell for a dignitary. Though with your high perception, mixed underneath, occasionally struck at the same time, is one of an invasion. Though it's not rung very fast, it's just like a tap. One bell clang, as if signaling something else as well.
Yeah, we are here, right?
Go ahead and do it one more time.
Like this area.
Yeah, you are here. You were about to head down. Let me go ahead and no snapping. Yeah, you're about to head down that road, but you stopped in the plaza. You can make for me an insight check or a history check. I'll allow either two if you want to interpret what that means.
Yeah.
Insight. There's an army approaching. Though it is not an army of an aggressive nation or even a neutral one. It's an allied army.
Okay. I was about to say, I'm about to run to the fucking barracks.
Yeah.
Though there's no reason for an allied army to be here, and by army, it would be something akin to a force that would be able to invade the city. Not just somebody's riding through. And Whitewater is not on the path as a capital, as the primary city, is not on the path to any other nation.
Oh yeah.
It is very easy to go around Whitewater.
Unless what you want in Whitewater, which I know exactly who this is and why they're here. More than likely, anyway.
God.
The best way to get a prisoner is to surround the location that they're in.
Yeah.
Are you Felwolf, you will hear that, and then you have heard this before, traveling with your father across the plains near the Dragon's clan. It is the sound of hundreds, if not thousands, of horses. It is a roar of an army moving towards the city.
And it's coming from over here.
Oh yeah.
As we looked down that way, there would be an obvious force hitting up the bridge. They're being allowed to pass, correct?
The bridge is currently closed. As the noise gets louder, you will notice that on the ramparts, there are city guards moving up atop, moving in that direction.
LNN,
We may want to rouse.
you're probably gonna be you're quicker than me, right?
Yes.
Think you can get back there really quick and try to wake everybody up?
I can try, yeah.
I'll go to the gate and try to figure out what's going on.
Yeah. I'm gonna look first down to the barracks for the.
You'll see lights slowly flickering on.
Okay.
Quickly you see guards starting to pour out, almost like shaking a beehive in sorts. They are from every door. At first a trickle and then a roar.
Yeah.
Of soldiers start pouring from there. Felwolf, you haven't seen that many people come from a single building before.
This is my home ground.
Yeah.
Felwolf's gonna hit himself and Elenan with wind stance before they split to their respective directions.
Yeah, I'm gonna double dash all the way there.
All right.
Get to the keep. Or the Whitewater Castle.
I will say, as you get to the keep, the doors are already being opened. As the doors open, as you're standing there about to press through, Betrick is between you and by, as he's just kind of standing there, looks down at you.
Hello.
Hi.
Shit.
So you kind of, as you get that immediate moment of a split second of malice as his hand begins to reach and then stop. As you'll notice that he begins to recognize you. Go.
Yep.
As he just he takes a step over you and passes by.
Oh, shit!
I just love the yep, just gonna do that.
Yep.
Yep,
You'll head
got
that
it.
way. Felwolf, are you moving towards the gate?
The gate that I'm hearing all the trampling, yeah.
We'll go ahead and do Elenan. As Elenan begins to run into the castle, the rest of you that are still somewhat roaming about or are awake will hear this. There are bells. These bells are being rung through the city, and I know that Shadow and Aloria are outside currently.
Yeah.
Aloria, as you hear these bells, there is a moment of sudden what as this strange wave rolls across the inside of the walls. This almost arcane wave. Just a shimmer. And you'll see the royal guard that is up on the walls and the ramparts rushing across with a magical speed as they're moving up and down the walls.
Do I feel like I'm empowered or anything?
For a moment, no. As you look, as a wall on the far end of the castle opens, as you witness Better move with speed from open door all the way across the courtyard.
I'm going to rush after him and follow him.
You will notice that he does move significantly faster than you. You do feel a slight bit lighter, but you will notice that as he's moving across the walls, there is this shimmer on both sides following him.
I'm going to basically call out to him, Patrick, what's going on?
He will not answer. As he sprints as in a small mixture, if you put like an Olympic athlete and the Hulk Buster in one of person, moving with great speed. As he eventually stops at the gate as it opens, you'll see Elenan. As he steps over and has that small interaction with him, and then proceeds at a very slow pace across the bridge.
I'm going to move basically to intercept Elanan.
Ellen, and you'll see Shadow and Aloria kind of standing there and with a heavy breath.
What's going on out there? Why is Betrick rushing off like that?
Army's arrived. We need to rouse everyone.
An army? Whose?
Not 100% sure. But you can
Damn
take
it.
a good guess.
Son of a bitch. Shadow, come on. I'm gonna turn around and run back into the castle to try and find Queen Whitewater.
Shadow will look towards you, Ellen. You go back. I will make sure everybody gets there.
And I'm heading back north.
Felwolf, as you get there, the gates still haven't opened. The bells eventually stop ringing. And at that point, you'll begin to hear these as you immediately recognize as you turn around and see Betrick walking through the large street.
Felwolf is going to enjoy this moment. Felwolf still has his Naginata on him, of which there was his flag attached to.
Yeah.
He is going to have that in his left hand, hoisted out. Is he currently on the ground next to the portcullis, or is he on top of the ramparts?
Felwolf, you are so you're a small distance away, as there is a perimeter around the gate to some degree. Betrick is walking across the ground, moving up the street from where you kind of were. You'll see him when you first hear him. He would have rounded this corner here and come up around towards you.
Yeah. Like, I'd be approaching as close as possible to get a view, if not on the ramparts, through the portcullis itself.
You can't see directly through, and most of the buildings here are shorter than the walls themselves. The areas around that are able to go up towards the ramparts are guarded off. If you do attempt to approach, a guard will kind of attempt to back you from the area, with the attempt of nobility or the warrior aspect itself. They would say, we can't have dignitaries as part of any defense force.
Inform me who is his approaches, and I may be able to help.
As you say that, as Betrick does finally get there, he'll look down at you from behind. And in this... Give me an insight check, actually.
There we go again. My character's strong suit. Not really.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Let's
Pick
go.
something we're proficient in. That'd be nice.
Yeah.
Whoa!
In this
Again.
in this deep grunt, as his voice normally is, of Ren.
Well,
And
obviously,
this
they're
kinda-
not dead on the bridge yet by you. Who is it?
Nagran.
He just has this
Step
real
back.
big shit-eating grin up here on his face.
As he'll step past, as the gates begin to open, Felwolf, you will hear approaching behind you 2 armored men and a set of light footsteps as gates themselves open, and you'll see standing on the bridge, no one else, a individual clad in black armor, a long yellow cape hanging from the pauldrons at the side, a large round shield, and a massive blade in one hand, just standing there.
I'm going to tell the guard that I can handle this. as he would not be attempting to deceive because he truly believes he can handle this.
If he's here for you, I guess at least stand behind Commander Betrick. Could be.
Point me towards the commander.
Points towards the giant man who's now walking through the gate.
Okay. As he basically takes a approaching vector, kind of plants the Naginata in the ground as he stands beside the commander.
As Betrick stops, Felwolf, you immediately are able to see at the end of the bridge there is a gatehouse, but there's just no wall that surrounds that side of the cliff. There is an army there.
Yeah. I'm well aware. Like I said, I know how this man operates as a warrior.
There are for you to see in this aspect, there are clear evidence that there is siege equipment.
Yeah.
There,
like I said, when I had that conversation with Mother, I told her, I know what I'm doing.
There are a plethora of banners, as there are. Make sure I pull this up and count it correctly.
And the individual's name is
there. And then...
What, the king?
Yeah.
Bukovic.
Bukovic, that guy can't. I know it started with a goddamn B.
One day you'll get it.
We can start calling him Kevin Bacon or something.
Kevin Bacon, the great American hero.
There are 5 separate banners alongside the banner of Nagorod.
Right.
There's one large primary one which houses which has on it this crowned helm resting between 2 mountains. Others have this almost duality of this white and black embedded in a ring of gold. Another one is this flame blade that is crossed over a golden helm. One is these 2 curved blades that are golden resting against a black shielded background. Another one is this gold shield with black edges through it, almost bladed black. There is another post for a banner, or 2 more posts of banners that are not there. You can see that there should be a banner as there is the post, but whatever was there is torn down. As you will see standing there on the bridge, this large individual, roughly about 7 to 8 feet tall, clad in armor, darkened, pulls from behind him as he places the sword into the ground. These rolled up cloths as he tosses them out, as they clatter to the ground with a single wooden roll at the top. And unroll, you'll see a banner of this mask with a small golden blade etched behind it, and another banner of what seems to be a golden sword with black wings. You look up at Betrick. I won't need to check for this. As King Bukovic tilts his head ever so slightly upwards towards Betrick. Where are daughters? And that's where we'll end this episode.
You fucking what?
That early? All right.
Yeah, well, actually, if you believe it, the first one before we crashed was about 2 hours. The second one was like another 2 hours and 30 minutes. We're hitting an hour and 30 minutes. So we've built up that, but we can keep going if you want. I'll need a consistency from who's here, because
Oh, I'm definitely for it. I was
I'm down.
wanting to get this freaking dialogue over with, please.
Yeah. I'm
I think
good.
it was on the cliffhanger, dude.
Especially since we're going to be doing rotations from now on. So,
I do believe we will be back next Saturday, from what
well,
I
the
understand.
rotations upcoming.
So yeah, we can continue. As he says that, you will watch his bet trick as he has moved with purpose up to this point. Will take a small step forward as he slides his foot forward and looks towards Kovic. You have no idea. They are not here.
Wolf kind of looks at him, looks at Pekovic, and just the giant guy beside me. What's his basic height if I had to eyeball it? Like
15?
So my head would be at like what, waist high? Yeah, that'd be waist high, right?
Roughly, yeah.
Maybe a little bit higher, but okay. Kind of puts his, I guess his hand would be at the guy's thigh. Then I guess is how that would work.
Yeah.
And it's metal, right?
Yeah, he is entirely made of metal.
Okay, he just kind of pats the metal as he walks forward. After he kind of just lets the Naginata sit there and impaled into the ground. It is dirt, right? Otherwise, I won't be able to do that.
There are cracks of that has softened soil between the stonework.
Okay.
That you're able to place it into. Kovic just put it into the stone.
Okay. He'll walk forward a little bit past. He's not as anxious or scared of this individual because he knows exactly what this individual wants. Felwolf has, if anything, good graces with this individual. He says, "Did your individual make it back alive?"
His head will turn towards you, the helmet shifting as he looks in your direction. There is a moment in which you understand you're under the eyes of a warrior.
Oh yeah, a very old, powerful warrior, one's to be feared. Yeah, I got that.
But as a moment, after that split moment, the recognition of who you are becomes apparent to them. You're the samurai, am I correct?
I am Felwolf Starstrider, son of Dragonhawk, current leader of the Wolf Clan. It is my team that rescued that individual.
Autumn spoke a great deal of you. And a troop. I assume they are here.
They were currently resting, but I suspect they may be on their way. I just happen to be closest.
With his free hand, raise it into the air with all of his fingers pointed up, and then open his hand as you'll watch as the army behind him begins to move. You as a warrior and a somewhat tactician know that he's just signaled them to surround the capital.
So I suspect, from your question, the other two did not make it. If that is the case, I may have information useful to you.
First, I must get in. As he'll look towards Betrick. Move. before you make me move you.
Vetric, if your goal is to protect the people of the city, I might make a recommendation to allow at least this man through, so we may have a pleasant conversation.
Your wife may enter. King Bukovic, you will not. You fly her banner. She is here. She will speak with calmer head than you. So there's a moment of silence, at least on the bridge, as the army begins to spread about. 2 banners now will stay at the other side of the gate.
Then
The
allow
one
me
with the
this.
cursed blades and the one with the large crown.
Then why do I not join you on the outside, King Bukovic?
I don't mind.
He'll walk towards him.
I'll let my wife in. But you know better than me, Patrick. She will be calm. But there is some things cool heads do not stop. He'll pull his sword from the ground and turn as you finally approach his side.
I'll have my Naginata in hand as well.
All right. Begin to walk towards the gate. The gate itself on the other end is already open. Standing there, you see is a woman dressed in scale mail. Gold and black robes draped from her sides. A small curved blade fastened to one hip. And in the other, a somewhat long sword, though very saber-esque. The handle flares with gold filigree, but the most immediate aspect is the short white hair, and sections are pitch black. Her eyes having the swirl of yellow, almost gold, with small bits of gray. I'm going to assume Patrick suggested I go in, darling. Yes. They meet tomorrow, from what the sources say. You have that long. One way or another, you walk out of that city. You understand? Yes. Go. As his large hand rests on her shoulder, she is about your height, if not shorter.
Mhm.
As he rests his hand, she just puts hers on top of his as she passes by, softly smiling at you.
He will
As she proceeds
speak up and say, if you are going to inside, Look for an elf woman named Lori. She is a member of my team. She will give you the information you seek.
Thank you. She'll pass by, her armor still shifting as she proceeds down the ramp, or down the bridge. As soon as you pass through the gatehouse, you will see the gate guard of Whitewater, uncomfortable, sitting in nice chairs. They're not chained, they're not disarmed, but you will see they are not wearing their helmets, and they are nervously looking around. As you pass through, you will see the dark armored knights with the large round shields, flared top helm. All of them with spears and an assortment of weapons, large backpacks, as if prepared to go into any environment. As he steps out from the gate, you'll see one person kind of running by, holding the banner with the curved blades. As they run by in almost this deadpan sprint, you'll watch King Bukovic raise his hand once more and close it into a fist as the gates close. We have much to talk about, I assume.
Indeed, I should fill you in on what has transpired so far.
Stolen.
Oh, the stolen crashing again.
That is the
Gee,
day.
we're going for a high score here, guys.
I think that makes 3?
Yeah.
Or is it 4 now?
It's got to
think
make
it's
up
4.
today for all the times we won't be streaming on Saturdays.
That's
Yeah.
true.
Jeez.
I'm assuming you would like to have a private conversation, or would you rather just have it here?
Here is fine.
So be it.
My daughters are at the other gate. My men won't speak a word.
First off, let me say, as a warrior, I respect you and yours. Autumn showed high talent. I promise. It is because that he and my group became fast friends. Sometime later, months, my home, the jurisdiction, became under attack by Aldatore. But not just them alone. A shadow faction is in play. This much we have verified. I will explain more on them after I give you the resolution of Autumn. We sailed to Auditore. We did our research. We found a prison which held slaves, tortured prisoners, and among them, one of yours. I believe you know who I speak of.
Autumn informed me of such.
I sent my best secretive agents, which successfully broke him out. However, we had to make a quick escape. From my knowledge, all members of the rescue made it out. I was unaware that the two females had not. Which leads me to my resolution. This shadow faction. I don't entirely believe that they are dead. People like them would be more valuable as prisoners. You and I both know that. The shadow faction that I believe has them, that we have encountered, is the Turn Terrors. We have fought their agents multiple times. I myself have been in one of their headquarters. I've seen them, heard them. I cannot say for certain they have the two that you seek. But what I can say is your best bet is to look in Auditoria, as that is where they were last seen. Specifically, in the arena, where we also had valid information that more agents of that shadow faction resided. So there's a high probability that they have been taken prisoner. I say this to you off of a mutual interest. You and I both have probable cause and want for this nonsense in Auditoria to stop. I wish to stop an unprovoked war, and you wish to have what you cherish back. Are we at least in agreement of that?
I heard of your father once. I never met him. Though I traveled through the east, I crossed the mountain differently than Alexander. He passed through your clan's territory. I got distracted.
I'm assuming much like Autumn did.
Autumn picks fights because that is what I commanded him to do. I learn ways of people. Normally, what I found in the East, they are hidden away. The arts in which form the basis of your clan. I stopped at a temple in the mountains somewhere. Alexander stopped at a village in a valley. I still beat him across the mountain range. But when he came out, he spoke of your father. I assume he then followed this way, your father, because I heard of him again.
Yes.
After Whitewater's tragic events.
Dragonok assisted in that war alongside Whitewater's forces. He wished to tie peace between the East and West. A peace that had lasted until recently.
Unfortunately, your father sowed peace with a faction, not to the entirety.
As I have learned since my time in the West.
If strength was all it took to command and lead, there would be no other. Whitewater would have been the first. Unity is something hard fought in the West, but yet dreamed easily. East accomplished it through whatever means they may have. Though I suspect, from a warrior's face, you speak of home in a fashion that is drowned in a form of regret or agitation. I assume if I find reason enough to invade Auditory, your war may end with the West quickly, but I doubt your life will be made much easier. Is that true?
It is a somewhat true statement. My life would be made easier, but I am not ignorant. I would still have the malcontents that align themselves with the Shadow faction to deal with, which I have already set my own plans in motion to deal with that. What your invasion would do is stop it from being a two-pronged war against me. I have the forces to deal with my own. What I do not have is the forces to deal with multiple kingdoms.
So be it. Autumn. As one of the knights nearby will remove their helmet, then you'll see Autumn.
Son of a bitch.
Yes, Commander. What is it you need? Seems as if you speak well and truth of this individual. I'm glad you made it back. Go back to Auditory. As you wish. At no point does Autumn pull his head from looking down as he walks away. We'll give the king until the 5th bell tomorrow.
I didn't hear what you said. What?
I'm sorry. I will give their king to the 5th bell of tomorrow.
To surrender the two individuals, correct?
Correct.
Something to be aware of, then. Some information we've come across but do not have the capability to openly prove just yet. The commander of Auditore running this invasion, at least that we have seen, was dead in his own quarters when we arrived. Someone seems to be wearing his face. Watch for shapeshifters.
They're in my army.
What's that?
They're none in my army.
You broke up again. Sorry.
Damn it!
There's something in the army. That's all I heard every time.
There are none in the army.
Okay.
Jeez. And he'll reach up with his hand once more and remove the crowned helm from his head. And look at you. You will see something slightly familiar. As Mao does have a discoloration of eyes and one somewhat changed. But Koke does have that somewhat similarity as well. Though it's different. The eye itself is white, with what seems to be this almost ember-like pupil. There is a small iris around it that is into that of some sort of gold filigree or flake as he looks at you. Paladins are the only ones that hunt monsters. There's a reason no one enters my kingdom. Still, look back at the gate. As a great friend of mine trusted your father, I will trust you. My wife is half a demon.
Your what? I can't hear you. What?
My wife is half a demon.
Okay.
A demon.
What King Whitewater had learned, the reason why he grew to befriend my father, is the way my clan operates. We offer a second chance to those who would prove society wrong. I do not care what race you are, what religion you practice, only on how you live your life and how well you best help those around you. Live a life with honor. You will have my trust and respect.
He'll smile.
You live a life of deceit, evil, and I will hunt you down.
That is what Alexander learned. What inspired him to change Whitewater. That is why it's a place your father chose to see. A promise he made. To make the West a better place.
A place where all are welcome. It is a dream I have as well.
Unfortunately, not many here think the same.
Well, I guess it's up to us to prove them that there are other ways.
If a task were suited for warriors, it would be done quickly. But such is a task suited for men like Alexander and women like his daughter.
Or your wife.
Definitely not her. She's worse than me.
You would give a good chuckle at that one. Wow.
I just hope that your friend, this elf, is able to handle her.
Well, she has anger problems of her own, which are quite hysterical. But I suspect they will get along quite swimmingly if this is the case. For they both hold that fire within them.
Har. Son of a bitch.
You saw my daughters. They went missing.
I saw two individual females that introduced themselves to me, said they were looking for that specific prison. Yes. I was, at the moment, preoccupied with the still fresh wounds of the death of my father. Their names had escaped me.
Annette and Aaron. The Curse of Kings. I have no son. I have many. As his head will slightly tilt, many daughters. He'll just eyes will look across the open field as the banners themselves are slowly moving apart. I think in total you would see 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 that actually have banners on them, and then the 2 that do not, and then 1 banner of his wife that went in. So there's a lot. So he just kind of looks at them all.
Dog and pony show is what this is.
Yeah.
Show off like, hey guy, look at that. Look at that one. Look at that
Yeah, look at that one. Look at that one.
one. Piece of candy.
Ooh, piece of candy. Ooh, piece of candy. Ooh,
For
piece
the
of
medieval ages, it essentially helped commanders understand where certain regiments were.
Yeah.
And so it's his way of being able to keep an eye on his daughters. But once his eyes finally rest on the 2 that lay bare, the small smile on his face immediately fades. I will not burn down my brother's kingdom.
Understandable. I understand it is war. I am accustomed to this. Casualties are expected. Massacre can be averted. I am not without a conscience.
But I also know the son of a dear friend is childish and weak. He will stay as long as he needs and run at the soonest chance.
His guards are suspicious to me. Cannot seem to get a good read on them.
Autumn fought them once. They fight as a pair. Autumn barely walked away.
I suspected they were quite skilled. Is thusly one of the reasons why I have not acted. I am attempting a route of negotiation, obviously, which is why I'm here. With that being said, well, trust me, I am very accustomed to enjoying a good fight. There's a way to get better. A way to hone your skills. As a forge hones a blade to forge a masterpiece.
Your father ever tell you about the West and their gods?
I know very little about the gods. I know a basic understanding.
Do you know what an avatar is then?
A mortal form of some divinity. Correct?
That is the gist, from at least what I understand. There are clerics, paladins in Aelia that accuse me of being the avatar of Valdir, the god of war.
What's
I
wrong
think
with
it's
that?
suiting.
I don't see anything wrong with that.
Neither do I, but they attempt to use it in a negative fashion. And yet it makes my men train harder. And yet my country has never lost since I have claimed the throne.
An enemy that only has a position to spew insults is an enemy that is unworthy of attention.
But Aelia is not an enemy. As long as Godfrey rests on the throne of the divine. though in recent years I find men like me and your father far and few between. Children like Altir, like sheep in a wolf pack. They
Children
rust
growing
around.
up, suckling from the teat of their mothers, never knowing strife, never knowing hardship, cannot be forged into something great. They can only rely on what their inheritance have given them, or what can come easily to them. It is a hardship of reality. With strife bears conflict, with conflict bears resolve.
True. Elenan, as you get to the gate, you'll witness a woman finely dressed in armor and noble regalia be let through the gate. Do you attempt to slip through? As your brother is nowhere around, and Betrick is still on the bridge.
Yeah, I'll slip through.
Go ahead and actually, what's your passive still? 10 plus.
Passive still?
Yeah.
20.
20.
Nice.
You'll get by the guards on this side of the gate, but as you pass through, the guards on the walls will be yelling at you. Past Betrick once more. He'll see you as you look back, and he'll just look towards the gate in front of you, not do anything. As you're beginning to approach the gate, you won't see anyone on top. Fellow, you'll hear soft foot steps, and then King slightly look up, just over the lip of the gate above. As a helmeted soldier will look down. There's one man approaching, sir. What do you wish to do? Well, what does he look like? Half elf, like a somewhat green shawl, hooded cloak of sorts.
If I may take a look, it seems it might be my brother.
Open the gate. I doubt when they see me, if it's a threat, they will continue. As he'll just turn and look at the gate as it begins to open. Alan, and you'll see standing next to your brother, at the towering height he is, the only person you can probably surmise to be King Bukovic, standing there.
I will whisper to King Bukovic, this individual is physically the one who saved the prisoner. He is my shadow agent.
Come through the gate, boy. Come through the gate.
I think he said he approaches. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I did not fucking hear.
Yeah, he kind of like half came in, kind of garbled, so I spoke it.
Yeah.
All right. The gate will immediately close behind you. Every kingdom knew the slaves having gone from the scaled nations throughout Ettore. The one thing we were not aware of was the fact that it wasn't just dragon. The West has no dealings truthfully in regards to the way the scaled nations conduct themselves. Oasis could use a sense of war. If no army dare, except truthfully mine maybe, cross the desert to wreak justice upon a city so rotten. Their distance is why they get away with such. The scaled nations are protected by dragons. Auditore should have left the should have left the dragonkin to be the only ones moved through their side of the bastion gates. Thank you for bringing us to light, boy, that more than just dragonkin move through those holes of society.
Of course, I am at your service. Slavery is not something I accept.
Unfortunately, regardless of that desire, the powerful will commonly take advantage of the weak. It's just a matter of how much more powerful is the better way.
Well, we can always think of it like this, King Perkovic. Should the war end in the east, and you find yourself hungry for a nice, sunny spot in the south, I'm sure I do not have to convince my people too hard to fulfill a debt.
I do not have the means to deal with the political issues that involve Oasis. As a test of her grandeur, her potential, that is Lady Whitewater's.
Great beast to slay.
Yes.
I
I
see.
am to tear down the old dogs. My daughter. As he just kind of lets out a sigh. Will be the one to deal with the next. My beasts lay with the old kings, north of my kingdom. And with whatever problems found their way out of the bogs. But let us call it an evening. I am a strong man, but even warriors need rest.
I agree. I have a long day ahead of me tomorrow to deal with these negotiations.
They will take more out of you than 3 days' worth of war.
I suspect that to be true.
uh,
I'm
I-
curious to see how your wife is getting along with my friend.
Oh, I'm sure it will be dandy. Oh, have you... I'm going to assume you two have not known this. But, my wife's the daughter of an another king.
Oh,
She's the first princess, or at least one of the still living princesses of Orkzuk. So walk off towards a large tent that has now been erected.
I was
You may
put my
come
hand.
with.
What's up?
You may come with. I'm sure there'll be rooms for the both of you.
I suspect that if I do not return, some members of my party may have an anxiety attack.
No.
I won't hold up any further then. Though I doubt we will meet again outside these gates.
No, but I hope one day we can cross our swords against enemies together.
Not.
Have a fair night, King Bukovic. And he'll do an about face and leave. Gonna put his hand on Elen's shoulder, kind of whisper to him like, "All right, let's get out of here before we overstay our welcome."
Yep.
Meanwhile, in Aloria's universe,
God, give me a second. I don't know what it was. Just something decided to kill me.
How do you say Orokzuk?
Oh, Chris Zook.
Oh, Chris Zook.
Which I damn near choked on my water when you said that.
I am. I'm glad. Let's see where that would be. As
Where
You-
Ellen left me, I was going to collect Lily and Whitewater, Queen Whitewater, while I would have sent Shadow to round up the rest of Lily's group. Because at this point, I don't know that there's not an immediate danger, so I'm trying to gather up all the fucking people.
As for those that are here, gather. Shadow opts to stay with Neoma, who, by all means, probably should not be around a political issue.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
As he himself does wish to join, but has no real input on what is truthfully going on, other than what you already know about what happened in the manor.
Yeah. So
You will see as Lady Whitewater, Sebastian, Lily, are putting on, have now a noble attire in some regards on, and fighting their way towards that main entrance. You will see the doors will immediately pressed open, in somewhat of and with great speed, as two armored individuals are there, as Altair is, with a bit of brisk haste, having seen King Bukovic, is entering into the castle.
does he look afraid?
No.
He simply
Does look a bit jolted. The normal, very calm aspect of him is like, okay, something is wrong, and he has moved to the castle. He's brought himself to a safe place.
as he passes us, I would just kind of wave my hand forward to the group that I've gathered and continue on outwards. to basically I would be making my way at this point out towards, I guess. Did Ellen even tell me like where things were coming from? I guess I would just be headed towards the gate, west gate. So yeah, that's where my intended.
Sebastian and Lady Whitewater would begin to guide you guys that direction. They are very well aware.
Okay.
Accompanying you, Lily, is Boris and Kiri. So of course, they are more than likely going to have to go and confront, for Kiri, Dad. I believe Kiri is Autumn. That's right, Kiri Autumn. I gotta double check because
There's Kiri.
no,
Autumn,
Kiri
Boris,
is
Autumn,
Kiri Autumn.
and
Yeah.
And we have one of the Borises, right?
Boris
Autumn the 5th.
Yeah. So those two are with you, as they are as well. They belong to Nagarad.
Mm-hmm.
As they get to the gates, the first set of gates, as they open. It did take a bit for Lady Whitewater to get ready and whatnot, so there was a bit of hold up. But as the gates open up on the opposite end of the bridge, those gates are also opening. As you see a white short-haired or short white hair woman standing there with the same described noble's regalia, just standing on the other end, using this sabered blade somewhat as a leaning post, as she's just looking across. Lily, you would know this to be Rachel Bukovic, the Queen of Nagarad.
Oh. I'm assuming I've actually chatted with her before. I don't just know of her.
You've had some dealings with her. Where you would know him as Yuri. Where Yuri lacks in political intrigue or sway or things like that. He's a man of might. He's not dumb, nor are anybody truthfully able to get a lie or get a one up of him. She is the one that has a silver tongue.
Okay.
She can move people in means. You are also aware of that other thing that Bukovic made Felwolf aware of. You chalk it up to that kind of aspect, knowing her, where she's from, and who her father is.
Lineage.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
She's not crazy. She's driven, and you have been to their castle before. Yuri and Rachel are what you imagine your parents to behave like. She's good with words. He's great with a sword. She just makes up for his flaws, and he just beats the fuck out of people. Kind of that kind of relationship where they don't really need to fill gaps for each other. They're perfectly fine on their own, but they make a perfect duo.
Okay. I suppose then I would just greet her formally as I
Across the
recognize
bridge?
her. Yeah.
How long is this bridge?
I'm not saying like I'll stand at the very edge and like fucking yell, but like that's the first thing I'll do when we get close enough.
Yeah, as you begin to approach and you greet her formally, and Lady Whitewater somewhat begins to do the same. She'll just kind of put her hands up, still with a sword, as she's been using as somewhat of a leaning post. As she raises her hands up and just goes, They're like daughters. Don't do this to me. As she just kind of walks towards both of you with her arms outstretched, still sword in fucking hand, like, this is not a problem. I'm approaching important people with a blade out.
Totally not. Yeah, totally not. I'm sure.
And
I'm sure everybody's.
Yeah,
Everything's kosher here, all right?
Yeah, everything is super kosher, as there are guards all around with ballista and all sorts of shit pointed at this bridge right now.
But we all know that's not going to do shit anyway, so...
Well,
yeah.
Aloria, not knowing this individual, I believe would step forward.
Yeah.
Just kind of...
Give me a D100.
D100.
How severe of an ass whooping are you gonna get? That's what it is.
Probably just put space between her and the group.
Yeah, what we're gonna do here?
Are you gonna be?
A D100.
What we're gonna do here with the D100 is establish whether or not
57.
57. Establish this is to establish whether or not your character is aware of who she was or who she is significant towards other places.
Okay.
You with that? No, you're not aware.
No,
are you trying to place you between her and the two ladies?
Essentially, yeah. With still being uncomfortable and unsure in this situation, I would as she approaches, I'm just gonna stand out as if I'm putting distance between her and the others, just staff in hand. I'm just standing there.
As you can do something, Lily. Sure, I'll let you.
I was gonna roll an insight first.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, give me 1 second.
What are you? Who are you rolling?
I'm trying to. To the queen. I want to try to gauge her by the way she stands and how I know she acts. Maybe the meaning of her being here, some kind of intention.
Is she pissed? Is she happy?
Go ahead and roll with advantage.
Okay.
In a sense, this woman, having known your parents and also known Alexander, she was somewhat involved in the raising of both you and Lady Whitewater, though not consistently. But she was involved to some degree. 18.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. She's angry, but not towards anyone here in particular. You are able to tell that it's easy enough from the way that she stands with this, like the cock of the walk kind of thing. I don't know, the whole.
She got big dick energy.
Yeah, she's here and she knows that she's here to fuck shit up, and you know that she knows this, but she's here for any negative action towards you or Lady Whitewater. The fact that she's carrying around a sword in her hands is normal. Her country is very much everybody's a soldier, so to her having a blade is not foreign to you. If she didn't have it, you'd be worried.
Is that another stolen death? Jesus Christ!
Yes, there's another stolen death.
In that case, I think then I'll try to put my hand on Aloria's shoulder just a little bit, just kind of keep her close. I don't want her going too far towards her until I can figure out what exactly she's mad at.
Aloria will stop, turn to you, and give you kind of an inquisitive look.
And about that time, on your shoulder will be a hand as well from this woman that's been approaching. As she'll put her hand on your shoulder and just kind of look down at you, or not down, but kind of tilt her head slightly as she's just a little bit taller than you, and just give you the slight look.
Gloria will return her gaze, almost sternly, but with a sense of she's uncertain of what to make of her.
I have always believed my father to have a keen eye on what does show goodness in people. Most misjudge individuals that step forward. Smile softly. She'll she'll raise her hand off of your shoulder and just with her thumb slightly rub your cheek as she looks away from you towards Lily and Lady Whitewater. Just kind of raise her arms up. Still sword in hand. Hug, come on.
You'll see Lily's expression kind of soften just a little bit and then start walking toward her.
Loria's going to take a step back.
As
You
Lady
get
Whitewater,
hugged too.
as Lady Whitewater and Lily are hugged, she does squeeze you tightly, almost like that point where somebody's trying to pop your back, but she squeezes you tightly, and then lets both of you go. As Lady Whitewater is just kind of rubbing her arm a little bit. It's like, okay, it's been a while. How are you? I am fine. It is only formality that we are here.
Say that
You might have
again?
to repeat that.
You cut
Yeah,
it
you might have
again.
to-
Formality that we are here.
Formality, yeah.
I wouldn't say entirely that any of you are to blame. I hope not. Annette and Anna, Annette and Aaron have yet to return.
Did not make it out of Auditore.
What informed us that they were supposed to be returning home as well after a certain series of events, but we ended up having some friends at the college give a look at where they may be, and they could not find anything.
Now, at this
So-
point, Lily hasn't been informed fully on everything yet because the Senate hasn't convened, right?
Correct. You were
Okay.
made aware that it involves Auditore. You're made aware that it also involves the East. Other than that, you weren't made aware of any actual information, just to avoid topics that relate to the two.
Mm-hmm.
So, with the information that Tim brought us, we suspected it to be worthwhile in checking out and dealing with it in a fashion that befits the missing of nobility. So we rode to the neighboring country. A friend, and hopes to find a quick solution to our ailing hearts.
Where your daughters are, whether taken or have gone, they aren't here.
She'll look at you somewhat with a smile without moving her head.
I wish I could tell you where they were. The only thing I know is that they were researching something that had to do with time magic. That's how I met them, because I too was and still am researching the subject. They had a document that I desired, and they gave it to me. They fought with us. Well, Annette had fought with us in the arena there. But after we left the city, we expected that they would return home with with her fiancé. But it seems that they never reconvened.
Unfortunately, no. I know my daughters are not here in Whitewater.
Why
No
have you
one
brought the
tried them
army?
here. Because 2 individuals were called here. She'll look towards Kiri and Boris, meaning another was called here. You'll just kind of see this annoyed look on Lady Whitewater's face. Queen Bakovic, I can't let you remove a guest to my kingdom from my castle. Cannot let that happen. Oh, I know, dear. I'm here for the meeting. She gives a somewhat cocky smile. I cannot
Mhm.
prevent you from showing up. All I can ask is that you be on your best, be on better behavior. She just kind of gives this soft squint and slight, like, very small wink. You know me too much.
I should hope so.
I won't abduct the boy from his room. He will remain in your keep. We are just here passing through. Keep it that way. Oh. You say as if it wouldn't be true.
Can I do another insight just to see if she does actually intend to just leave him alone
He's
until the
just
meeting?
three pawns. I not kill him. I just make him heart bad.
Yeah.
Go ahead and roll another insight with advantage.
Okay.
I promise I won't kidnap him from his room.
Does he really need the
Wink.
warrior? Fingers not all needed.
She was heartfelt and okay. She was telling the truth and the fact that she wouldn't take him from his room. But it doesn't mean she won't do anything else.
Do it.
As you begin to give that look towards her. Or anything else.
The equivalent of like pinky promise.
I
How about this? We can share the bed in the prince in the lady's chambers. Then I can sleep on the large couch, and you will always be able to keep an eye on me. I would prefer that, but I'm also not allowed to put you in chains. So I think that's the best I can get.
Does
Girls'
seem like
night
the best
then it
option.
is. You can tell me about all the boys. Or each other. Okay.
I'm assuming that my companion is out there by the gates with your husband?
Companion? You mean the hunk of meat that was next to my husband?
Aloria is visibly like she doesn't know what to do with that description, so she just kind of moves past it, but is obviously like affected by it.
What?
Like it takes her aback, and she'll just say, "The samurai, the half orc."
He was there. I laughed.
There's a
Oh,
Loria
Lord.
for you in Discord.
Yep. Laura will kind of regain her composure. Then he's probably already made a fast friend.
It would either be that or he'd be dead by now, so. Those are
Knowing
the
your
two
friend, I think they would be fast friends.
Well, he's been telling me to not worry as much, so I'm
You probably
trying.
shouldn't. Worrying about your other half just takes too much out of you. Believe in them.
Aloria's eyes will widen as she is. It's obviously slightly flustered. Oh no,
You
he
don't
and
have
I
to tell
aren't.
me, though. You're fine.
Lady Whitewater and Lily are just gonna sit there and kind of snicker next to each other, like watching, knowing exactly what she's doing.
My fucking soul just left my body.
As I stated, he is one of my companions. We travel together.
So there's more. Good on you.
Think of our relationship as two soldiers who have fought many battles together.
Me and my husband have fought many battles
I was
together.
gonna say,
I hope it is.
the definition of a relationship.
Not a good analogy.
I hope it,
winning this fight.
I hope it becomes fruitful as she kind of looks at your midsection. But I'm sure all the men with the crossbows are tired. We should head off. She kind of looks up and parts once more, and everybody else begins to look around, realizing they're in the middle of what would probably be just a hail of bolts and giant fucking ballista. So good to don't have them with longbows. Their arms would be tired now.
As the others begin moving past, Aloria will just kind of stand there for a second, almost like flabbergasted by the interaction. Just kind of shakes her head, turns around, and continues to follow behind.
Definitely see now why King Bakar, she's worse than I am. I'll stab a man. She will make them uncomfortable.
As Aloria catches up, you always bring your armies wherever you go.
People refer to my husband as Avatar, the God of War. It would be wise to not carry around such weight willingly. Though,
If you knew your daughters were not here, and you came here also for the gathering, or the council rather, then again, why the show of force? It seems unnecessary.
do you have a mother?
Laura will look towards the ground. Not anymore.
Let us say your wish became true, that it was you and not her. Most daughters are the same. A mother would light the world on fire. I'll tell you one thing. where I would stop at finding my daughters. My husband would shatter the world.
This world has given me enough reasons to light it on fire without having children.
Oh. That man, I jokingly say, as these two girls can attest, I provided reason to a king that sat upon a mountain and down at the world as if it needed changing. A man he refers to as brother was the only other one able to speak sense into him.
Being?
Alexander's dead now.
As far as I'm aware, his body was never recovered. In my experience, that doesn't mean he's dead.
There have been many attempts by cults, by people, in an attempt to contact, revive, or even speak to the gods. All signs point to he's no longer here and doesn't want to come back. My husband won't speak about it, but I can see many things in his eyes.
When Alexander lived, did anyone ever call him an avatar of anything?
King Alexander? Or who? Sorry, who are you referencing? Who'd you ask?
I'm asking the Queen, Bukovic, about if Alexander was ever referred to as an avatar of any god.
I don't entirely know. I don't think so. Alexander was a good man. Many referred to him as a person of, it's supposed to be good, a lawful man. From my experience, he just loved people. I don't think any god truthfully is about just loving people. Even Azuna, regardless of hearth, fertility, and marriage, is about giving birth and homes. Alexander looked beyond kin.
It's no wonder Felwolf's father respected him so much.
It wouldn't be past many people to think that if he did die, maybe there's a new star in the sky for a different kind of god. Though don't tell any men of cloth that. They would scream heresy. A man becoming a god.
Star?
What?
Nothing. Sorry. Just... I was thinking aloud for a moment.
But you can join us, girls. Talk about all the see details of you and your man.
He's not my man. He's a respected friend, stalwart and true. And it's true I care for him a great deal. But that's because he has a family that he needs to return to, that I need to keep him alive long enough to make sure he can.
So tell me about these sisters.
I'm sorry?
So, so tell me about these sisters. I'm sure you looked at each one to make sure that whatever family he has, these are the people he loves and cares for. So acting like them or learning their ways could make it, right? She'll just kind of smile.
How do I put this? He and I quite literally grew up on opposite ends of the world. My mind doesn't work like his or his family's. He loves his family and adores them, and he would do anything for them, I'm certain.
Did
His
you
family-
love yours and adore yours?
Of course I did.
Would you have not done anything you could for yours?
If I had the power to do so back then, I would have.
I don't see how you're any different. Places may be different ways of how one carries themselves. But let's be honest. It's always going to find its way. She looks at Lily and Lady Whitewater.
Mhm.
Doesn't matter where you're from. She'll look back at you. People that love each other will find each other. Don't give up. She'll give you a wink as she kind of begins to walk.
Love has never entered my mind or my heart. Not when it came to him, at least. My family was one matter.
I'll be sure to tell him then the next time we meet.
I would prefer if you kept that wild imagination of yours inside of your own head.
So you
And of-
too. She's just kind of laughing softly to herself as her arms drape across Lily and Lady Whitewater at that point as they're now walking across the walking through the gatehouse towards the castle.
Lily, you'll kind of turn back toward Aloria and kind of give her like this like reassuring smile.
Gloria looks visibly distressed.
So you relax, distress. Okay.
No,
Like disenchant, unenchanted,
No.
distress.
she has a look of concern upon her face.
Okay. You're there, correct?
I would have been waiting in the castle.
Oh, so you're still kind of like at the door.
I would have been waiting in the courtyard more than anything.
Okay.
Just
Eventually,
keep
you'll
an
see
eye out.
this troop approaching that this woman described once before, trotting up the steps, almost being like this small little, this somewhat pendulum between the two ladies at her side. As she'll hop up a step or two, and then jokingly force them to hop up a couple steps as they go back and forth like this little, like small family. And eventually at the very top, there's the big smiles and whatnot. You can immediately see behind them is Aloria that's kind of like somewhat stretched and not wanting to look at them. So like looking to these sides, down to the ground, and still somewhat approaching. From your position, you'll see the far back gates open up. The familiar attire of Elenan and Foulwolf back there entering through the gates. Given that, okay, so everyone's behind secure walls. As
At that point,
eventually
I'll
this,
back off and head back to my room.
as the group of women get relatively close to you to some degree, with them laughing and smiling. Give me a religion or a... Actually, give me a religion check.
Ooh,
22.
not bad.
As you look at this woman between Lady Whitewater and Lily, as she looks up towards you, you'll see her eyes kind of twist and kind of fluctuate slightly. Almost like there's this kind of animalistic filament in them. As being a cleric, looking at this entity, you would, with that religion check, be aware that they're not entirely human as they appear, nor are they entirely something else. Whatever they are is probably an individual such as Sebastian or whichever, or even yourself, somebody that the gods would normally look down upon, creatures that are not natural. But you don't get a sense of malice from her. As she looks up to you and you see that kind of weird flex in her eye, you also get the sense that that is not an entity which, for the first time, without having that visual representation where you see a creature and you're like, that is not something that I feel comfortable around, you know, like the Oni that you fought in the desert, like the undead samurai you saw. This one gives the same feeling. However, not the entirely, I don't want to be around this individual, more along the lines of, I don't want this individual to be a subject of my needs. Those needs being those racial ones.
Okay.
And she looks up to you with a smile and just, with her arm that's around Lily, gives you that, while still holding the blade and two fingers, kind of gives you that slight wave with the fingers.
I'll give a small wave back.
If you want, you can make me a history check to figure out who this person is as they approach. 11. You don't know exactly, but from the colors, you can assume, due to having seen Kiri, Boris, and Autumn himself, the golds and blacks, Nagarad. And the fact that she is moving the Lily and Lady Whitewater around in such a manner could mean an older individual, so high nobility of Nagarad, but also one that even when the other alarms or when the castle got in a rush, she's carrying a blade walking next to them. This has to be somebody either extremely important or the guards something. That's about all you can get from it. As they passed by, she's messing with the girls, like pinching their cheek or poking them in the neck, things like that as they walk through the doors. Eventually, you'll see Eloria catch up or approach you as you've now entered into the castle somewhat behind them, as they are quickly flanked by Jin and Minithel on the halls as they go up the steps.
who is flanked by Sebastian and Menethil?
3 ladies going upstairs.
Ah,
They essentially were like standing in the hallways, being like a visual obstacle. In case, eye contact was made.
I see. Aloria will kind of just remain in the lobby area, kind of just standing. Like, almost lost in thought, but has that very common frown that's upon her face.
You'll see, like, Lily probably, like, come back a little bit. Like, are you joining for girls' night, or is it just too much torture?
Aloria's going to turn and look behind her. I'm assuming I see Fel walking up, right? Fel and Elanan.
Yeah, you'll see them both. You them both.
Okay. Well, I haven't talked sense into the Queen yet, so maybe I'll get that opportunity. And so I'll continue following them up the stairs.
That's the spirit. I know she can be a bit, what's the word? A pain in the ass. But
I was
she
going to say
usually isn't wrong.
incessant, but
I don't dance around things that much. But she does usually mean well, and she's not usually wrong.
Well,
So even though she does play with people, it's not out of malice, I assure you.
Well, I'm sure by the end of the night she'll see she's wrong.
Maybe. Is what girls' nights are for, after all. Getting to know each other.
Never had one before. What exactly do you do?
I don't know if what we do or what other people do at girls' nights. You'll have to find out.
You mean commoners?
I wouldn't even say commoners. From what I understand, we're not exactly the typical company, I guess. I mean, you've seen the knuckleheads that I hang out with.
Suppose that's true. They remind me of my own.
As said knucklehead begins to breach through the door frame.
Well, they seem like a fine batch of knuckleheads to me.
You're clear.
You have no idea.
Lily, there is another woman standing there, Arya, who's just kind of like trying to slowly move by everybody.
Friend?
Slowly
Spotted.
trying to sneak back to her room, essentially.
Yeah. Trying to go unnoticed, but you.
Do I also see her?
Yeah. You'll see her.
Can I reach her?
I'm sure you could.
I'm going to grab her.
Yes.
As I grasp her, probably by her arm or her shoulder. I'm not going to suffer by myself.
Just see Lily chuckle.
I need
more the
backup
merrier.
for this. I need backup for this one.
I don't think it is my place.
It's now. I'm gonna pull her.
As if you get the choice.
I know Celia's loving this. As a player.
I'm loving it. As a player, I'm loving it. I'm just gonna fucking hate this.
As the ladies are chuckling and dragging each other up the steps.
Arya's slowly crying.
Beowulf and Ellen, you're standing there in the door frame. Probably still slightly confused what the fuck is going on.
Okay.
You'll see Lily just kind of wave back at you before like, kind of disappearing up the stairs with them.
I'm going.
Wait back.
I'm gonna look back at
Does it
Felwolf.
say help me? Like Mouth, help me.
I'm gonna look at Felwolf and just kind of give him a thumbs up.
He just has like that confused look on his face where he just kind of holds up two thumbs. He just smiles confused.
Like, oh, that's perfect. That's a perfect.
As the door closes on the on Lady Whitewater's room, as the two brothers kind of sit in the large dining hall together, mentally or non-vocally at least, establishing what is about to happen when dawn breaks. That is where we're gonna end it then. If that's a more comfortable setting.
Yes, please.
Thank you guys for being here, being with us this long. We had a lot of technical difficulties and are still experiencing them. Hopefully, 7 days gives enough time for these things to resolve themselves.
Perhaps.
Yes,
Knowing
perhaps.
our luck, they won't.
Little must know who we're raiding.
It is going to be Hero Forge if they're not Hero Forge. Nope, it's Hero Zone. Hero Zone.
Hero Forge. They are not.
Got all the tech. They're not up.
We got down to
anybody
die.
then. We're down to die.
D&D. Yep.
Go
We
ahead.
outran everyone.
Yes, we
just
did.
go ahead and type it in the Discord while you're continuing talking.
Go ahead
It's
and do
fine.
that, Spaz. We are more than likely going to be back this coming Saturday. From what I understand, it'll be after that. Things will go into the alternating weekends. Sorry, let me get triggered. It will be
It's in
the
there.
alternating weekends after that Saturday, and we will be able to keep you guys updated as things come along. Sunday, just keep an eye out on whatever it is that might happen. There might be something that we do. More than likely be involved with the boss here. But something. Melody
Perhaps.
will not. Melody won't be able to do the Melancholy Melody this Sunday, unfortunately. But things are looking to become stabilized as the internet fractured.
What
So
we could do is, if it would be all right, I can use the Team Epic channel to do, I guess, like a joint stream with Luna, if that's a thing that we're going to be doing.
if
Yeah,
you
can always
want,
do them.
yeah, I'll more than likely be there. But before we murder everything at this point, thank you guys for being here this long. Have a wonderful rest of your weekend, and stay epic. Bye, everybody.
It's kids.
Bye bye.